Hey, Tony Gaskins here, and popping in. Want to talk to you about something important. This hood ain't got no pockets. Alrighty, might be my first time wearing it. My wife bought me this Gucci hoodie probably 3, 4 years ago. I don't know how long. My first time wearing it, I think, maybe second. Ain't got no pockets, and it's cold in my office because we in the cold front. But I wanted to pop in on here and talk to you about this because this is something that is oftentimes misunderstood, and people don't understand the power of this right here. Because what a lot of people don't get is that your thoughts determine everything. Your thoughts determine everything. Like, it really is that simple and that complex at the same time. And what I want you to understand is, like, God created us in his image. And it's a thing that none of us understand, but we all are adding blocks to the building. And so every small bit of understanding starts to lead to a better understanding. And there's no one who fully understands it all. And it's some people who is so far-fetched and it's so unbelievable that they try to discredit. Because just like God said, let there be light, and there was light, and he commanded things to happen, and it happened. And that's what God can do, and we can't do that. But us being made in his image, we have a lot of say-so in our daily lives, and that's why he tells us so often about our mindset. That's why he discusses the mindset and faith and your belief and not being double-minded, and according unto your faith be it unto you, and such as you think so you will be, and death and life is in the power of the tongue. It's so much about your belief system and how you believe. And there's this sentiment that's going out there that and it's not foolproof. You know what I'm saying? It's not foolproof. So you can believe everything you want to believe and all of that right there, and it still turns out that somebody is a cheater, somebody is a liar, what have you. But a lot of times we're not doing our part when it comes down to it. And so one of the things that I have seen, and one of the things I've seen and experienced, is that we don't attract who we want, we attract who we are. And in that, it's a little bit of nuance, because some people confuse attraction for who approaches you. It's not just about who approaches you, because even a garbage want a steak, but it's about who you accept and who you settle down with. And that's the part that you got to be mindful about. You got to be intentional about. So riffraff may approach you, but if you accept riffraff, now that is a reflection of you. And that's what you got to realize and understand. But when it comes to you being who you are, you're not going to accept anyone that's not a reflection of you. So if you don't curse, you're not going to accept someone who curses. If you don't smoke, you're not going to accept someone who smokes. If you don't watch corn, you're not going to accept someone who watches corn. So then you say, well, Tony, I've done that before. I've accepted someone who does something I don't do, something that's against my belief system. Why did I do that? The answer is because of your desperation. The answer is because of your mindset. You told yourself that who you want doesn't exist. So who you got is what you had to accept. You told yourself a lie and you believed the lie, when there are people just like you. Because what doesn't the Creator have? The Creator doesn't have a respecter of persons. meaning that the Creator sees us all as equal and everybody has the same opportunity in this world according to your faith. And faith leads to obedience, meaning obedient to the right walk, the righteous walk. So you have that chance, you have that opportunity. So what you have to realize is that if you don't believe that there's someone like you, then you lack faith. And if you don't believe that there's someone like you, then that means you feel that the Creator is a respecter of persons, and that the Creator made you special and made you different and made you the only person like you. And that would be ignorant to believe, but that's how so many people think. So people think, oh, I could get in a relationship and I could be 100% faithful. But these men or these women can't be 100% faithful. So I got to settle for a cheater. And that's wrong. That is wrong. And that is why there are so many misfit relationships, so much brokenness, so much going on to where we can't have real love. So what you have to realize and understand with this is that your belief system is going to determine a lot. Like what you thinking, what you believing, that's going to determine a lot. Y'all gotta forgive my computer acting up here. Okay, my computer was acting up. It was just spinning. So what you have to realize is that your belief system is going to determine a lot. Not just a lot, it's going to determine everything. So it's all about the mindset. So it's kind of like this situation of where your mind going to play tricks on you, and it's going to put things in your mind. You're going to have thoughts that are lies. You're going to have thoughts that come from something that you heard or something that you've seen. And that will make you believe that that is the only reality. So I'll give you an example. I heard online that all women are bi. And that is, when you think about it, that's absurd. Because although there may be a lot of women who are bi, when you talk to women who are bi, a lot of times, well, all the time, you will see the point of contention or the point of confusion in their life. So let me think. Okay, I'm thinking of some women who are bi. And when I say bi, I mean bisexual. They were touched at a young age, and it opened them up, and it led them to promiscuity. And in this promiscuity, they were hurt by the opposite gender, and hurt in the worst ways. And them being hurt made them seek comfort. And then they get with a woman who has gone through something similar or worse. And now those women say, hey, we've both been hurt. Let's comfort each other. We've both been lied to. We've both been lied on. We've both been abused. We've both been mistreated. We've both been this. Let's comfort each other. And so there is a thing that's called love. But what you have to realize is that not all love is sexual. So a woman could love her female friend and love her to where she would give her kidney for her. But it doesn't mean she wants to be sexually intimate with her. But women are created different than men, and the social and societal constructs are different for women than it is for a man. So a man has something that is an instrument of seeking and penetrating. A woman doesn't have that same instrument. So a woman's body works differently than a man, and a man's body doesn't operate the same way a woman's body operates. So for a man, our body part can become stimulated without our permission, without our approval. So if it gets really cold in here or something like that, my body, I don't want to be intimate with the air conditioner, but my body will react to certain environments. If the wind blow too hard or whatever it may be, when I'm waking up in the morning, my body will react, and that body part will be standing at attention, full go. I don't want to do anything sexual. It's just that body part is receiving blood flow, and it is up and at attention. A woman's body isn't like that. So therefore, women could go and be in a locker room, and it takes the conversation, it takes isolation from the opposite gender, it takes being hurt, it takes being overlooked, and now these women start to look at each other because they're like, a man doesn't want me. Think about like WNBA players and things like that, who may get broad shoulders, may get muscles, and may have a stronger face, may a chiseled face, and they get to where like, hey, I'm around these women all the time. You know, men don't want me. The ones who are wanted and desired by a man, they have a man. It's a handful of them who are literally, truly desired by a man, but yet choose to be with a woman. It's literally, I can't think of one. I honestly can't not think of one WNBA player who is truly desired by a man. Not that we could look at and say, oh, she's pretty. Because a woman could be pretty and not be desired by a man. So a lot of times people don't realize how your circumstance and your situation conditions you, and then you adapt to your condition. So the same way you see men who were tough, were strong, had all of the women when they was out as a big time dope boy, and then they go to prison, and then you may hear tell back in the streets back home that they in prison and they done made a man their girlfriend. And you like, what? Not such and such, not tough guy, not killer. No, not him. But what it is, his pain and his trauma from being touched as a child, or being abandoned as a child, or being abused as a child physically or sexually, whatever it is, it has left a hole in his heart. And so when he was in the free world, he had women to be able to fill that void. Now being locked down and he got to do 6, 10, 15, 20 years, now he get to a place to where he's hurting, he's screaming, he crying on the inside. And so for him, the only thing he know that is comforting, that's therapy, is when he has a release. And so if there's a soft, sensitive man in there who dresses like a woman and act like a woman, and he's going to give him that release, that man convinces himself that it's nothing wrong with that. That is nothing wrong with that, as long as he not receiving the pointer into entering his exit. He'll tell himself it's nothing wrong with it. And some men will start to preach that. Some men will start to say, oh, hey, that don't mean no like that. That don't mean no like that. Just because I did that. But really what they don't realize is all it is them men being so trauma ridden so abandoned, so lost, so hurting, they seeking comfort. It's like a little kid wanting a teddy bear or a blanket. So see, a lot of times people don't understand that you have to break down these different lies. So somebody will put online, hey, all women are bi. But then you'll meet women and they'll be like, ugh, never. Like, I done met women that pretty much done said, basically, they'll slit a woman's throat if she try her like that. Basically, like in so many words, like absolutely not, Tony, never. Never will I do nothing with no woman or want no woman or whatever. And then there's some women who are more masculine and they operate in a masculine and they may become the protector and like the guard dog for other women. But that don't mean that their friends or them want to actually be intimate. It's like they can develop a genuine, pure love for one another, but it's love like sisters. Don't mean that it's a sexual love. And when you notice the women who be turning other women out, a lot of those women have trauma. They've gone through a lot. So they get close to a woman and next thing you know, they kissing on her. They trying to kiss on her, trying to make a move, trying to do this. But it comes from promiscuity. Promiscuity comes from trauma or misinformation or abandonment or something of the sort. So what you have to do is you got to evaluate and you got to break down the lies. You got to break down the lies. So when you hear, if you're a woman and you hear all men cheat, all men cheat. So you got to look at that and you got to say, okay, all men cheat, huh? So where does that come from? It comes from women who have been cheated on. So then you got to say, okay, how many men cheated on this woman? And the answer will probably be 3, 4, 5. Let's say the answer is 20 or 10. So then you have to ask yourself, well, if it's 20 men that cheated on these women who say all men cheat, what type of woman is sexually active with 20 men? A woman who has been either misinformed, misled, abandoned, left to herself, or she was violated. She doesn't just wake up and say, I want 20 men. That comes from an insecurity. It comes from a void. So therefore, that type of woman, what type of man is she going to attract or be attracted to? She's going to be attracted to a alpha male who has access to many women. So now her void is attracted to his void, and then their voids exploit each other, and she gets cheated on by a grown boy because she is a grown girl. And she keeps being attracted to grown boys. So therefore her narrative becomes all men cheat. Because the men who are faithful don't have the aura and what is the call for the men, like the pheromones or whatever. The men who are faithful don't have the aura and the swag to attract her. So she's never had the opportunity to be with a man who is whole, a man who is full, a man who is confident, a man who is righteous, a man who is pure. She's never had that opportunity because she's hurting, she's lost, she's broken. So she's going from man to man. She's hopping around. So because she's hopping around, she's experiencing men. She's experiencing men who hop around. But the guy who would be faithful to her, he's a cornball to her. He's a lame to her. So now her narrative is formed. But because of her voids and because of her insecurities and because of her pain and because of her promiscuity, those same things give her the confidence to be a public figure. And the women who are reserved, and the women who are introverts, and the women who are sexually bashful, sexually shy, those women don't have the makeup to become a public voice. So the women who are not promiscuous and the women who are faithful, they don't want to be a public figure. So now the women who want to be public figures are, on average, not across the board. You got to remember, nothing is 100% other than God. So on average, the women who are public figures, just like those of us men who are public figures, have a lot of bodies. You don't find a lot of virgins who are public figures. You don't find a lot of people who have less than 5 bodies who are public figures. They are out there. I repeat, they are out there. I repeat, they are out there. I repeat, you're thinking, you arguing, you thinking about other stuff. I said again, they are out there. You heard that right there for your comment? They are out there. All right, here go a cookie. You're an influencer online with under 5 bodies. Here's your cookie. All right, thank you. Get out the comments. And so what you have to realize is majority of people who want to be a voice, it comes from our trauma, our pain, our mistakes, and it propels us. So therefore, you have to be careful if someone has a voice and they have not been renewed. They have not been changed. They have not grown. They have not made a change in their life, because they're going to come out and say, just like the young lady who came out and said, hey, men who have slept with 50 to 100 women have slept with a man. The reason being is she is promiscuous. She is also unattractive to men who have options. So therefore, she's going to attract the men who are down low because she is plus size and she is loud and she is promiscuous and she is out there. Where those of us who had those numbers, but we are seen as conventionally attractive and we have options, we're not attracted to her type. So we're going and we're trying to pluck off the women who are quiet and reserved and minding their business, because we know the game we're playing is Russian roulette. So you don't want to play Russian roulette with a loaded gun. You trying to go and find somebody who maybe got 1 body, maybe 2, because you playing Russian roulette, trying to sleep around to fill your void as a grown boy, as an immature man, thinking that the more women you sleep with, the more of a man you are. So now the down low brothers, they go and get with the women who look like a transvestite. They get with the women who have a bigger figure, voluptuous, big, oversized figure, but in a voluptuous shape, like a Coke bottle, but like a exploded Coke bottle, not like the petite Coke bottle. And they get with those women because those men are gay, but yet they parade as straight. So they try to get women who are off the beaten path and outside of the beauty constructs of America, because they feel like that woman's desperation and loneliness and voids will lead her to asking less questions, because she just wants a man and she wants someone inside of her. Whereas a woman who has reserved herself and she's not giving her body to every man she meets, every man she dates, she's going to look deeper. She's going to ask more questions. So therefore, only the straight men are going to go to her, because we know she's going to actually evaluate us. She gonna look into us. She may not say how many women have you slept with, but her radar is on and she picking up on stuff. And if she decides to turn a blind eye, then that's because she's either very attracted or she sees the good in us and she feels like she can bring the good out. So she turns a blind eye to what could be perceived as a playboy, a player, a womanizer, and she say, let me try my hand with this man, but I'm going to protect myself and I'm going to be ready to walk away at any given moment. Now listen, with a video like this, because I got to coach in 26 minutes, with a video like this, you got to watch it 3 times. Every time you're going to hear something different. If you could watch it 16 times, watch it 16 times. And you got to get out your mind. You got to stop refuting. You got to stop trying to compare and contrast. And you got to listen. You got to get your notepad and you got to take notes. And you got to listen to what I'm telling you, because you're going to be able to take this to the bank and cash it. Trust me when I tell you. So now the woman who has 50 bodies, 100 bodies, and she's been out there and she's dealt with all type of men. She comes out and says, hey, men with 50 to 100 bodies have slept with a man. Guess what? I am the proof that that is not true. So, but because of, and she is someone, the woman who said that, I seen the video, she is someone that I would never touch. But the men who will touch her, those are the down low brothers, because they don't care who they put it in. They just trying to skew the numbers. They just trying to get more women on their roster so that people will think that they are into women. So when they go sleep with men, it can be hidden because they got 70 women on their list and 30 men on their list. So then she comes out, those type of women come out and say, oh, these men who got a lot of bodies, they done been with a man. Not realizing that for a straight man, that will never happen. A straight man could be with 1,000 women and never do nothing with a man, because it's not about the sex itself. It's about the accolade. It's not about being horny. It's about the accolade. It's almost like stacking up money in your bank account when you under that mindset. The more of an alpha you are, the more of a man you are, the more women you can get. The more of an alpha you are, the more money you can get. That's a mindset. Alpha male versus beta male. It's not about sexuality. It's not about the orgasm. It's about the game. It's about the accomplishment. Because also, as a real man, we're able to go without sex. Because one thing that a real man has is discipline. So that's how you see tough men and warriors can go into a training camp or a boot camp and have no access to sex, no access to a woman, and can go and win and go to war and win because of discipline. So what you have to understand, there's nothing that is one size fits all. And your mindset determines your reality. So it's what you believe. So if you believe that all men are bi, you're going to attract a man who is bi, because you're naturally going to be looking for those signs subconsciously. You're going to be looking for those signs and you're going to see those signs and you're going to attract that. And you're going to end up with a man who is bi because that's what you thought. But if you know for a fact, because you just know based on the law of averages that not every man is bi, then guess what? You're going to be looking for the men who are overly and uberly masculine. And then you're going to find us and you're going to see, wow, these men all the way 100% masculine and ain't nothing about them want no man. And then you're going to see that, and that's who you're going to end up with. And then all of your homegirls who believe every man is bi, they all going to end up with a bi man, because they looking for those signs, they expecting those signs, and they are accepting and welcoming of those signs in a man because their belief system told them that all men are that way. Just like when you say all men are cheaters or all women are cheaters, you are going to attract that, because when you see a Jezebel spirit, you're going to say, oh, that confirms my bias. That confirms my idea, my thought that all men or all women are like this. That confirms it. So let me approach this person, or let me accept this approach, or let me talk to this person. And then when this person is giving you all of this Jezebel, they're giving you all this Jezebel energy, and you like, this clocks, this makes sense. Like this is, yeah, this is real. Like this is the thing. Like I really can see this, feel this. Like this adds up. Like this person feels like a player. This person feels like they're gonna do a little cheating. So I gotta get ready for it. They're gonna do a little cheating. You're going to attract that. The thing you fear the most is what will come upon you. That's why you can't walk with fear. You can't have a spirit of fear. You can't have a spirit of lack. You can't have a spirit of doubt. Like I tell myself every day, I'm a billionaire. I'm a billionaire. I'm a billionaire. And guess what? It makes me say, okay, and one of the things to be a billionaire, I got to have the tech industry. I got to be in the tech industry. So guess what? I'm building apps right now. And then I'm also building apps for my clients. Okay, they charging $50,000 to build a minimum viable product. I'm going to get a developer who is going to agree with me to where we're going to charge $10,000, and we're going to build as many apps as we can. And that's a part of the portfolio we building. And so now here we are building, and this is what it is. But guess what? My mind wouldn't think to offer app building services if I wasn't telling myself every day I'm a billionaire, and a part of being a billionaire is having tech in your portfolio. If I wasn't telling myself that I'm a billionaire, I wouldn't be building multiple apps right now and multiple software. I wouldn't be doing that because my mind wouldn't even go into that realm, because I hadn't allowed it to stretch to that point. But when I tell my mind I'm a billionaire, my mind says, okay, I'm a billionaire, but I don't see $1 billion in my bank account. So what is it going to take to be a billionaire? Okay, look at the billionaires. All right, what industry are the billionaires in? Okay, how many companies and brands do the billionaires have? Are they invested in? Okay, what companies and in what industries are these in? All right, how can we add those companies, those type of companies and those type of industries to our portfolio so we can be a billionaire too? Your mind meets you where your faith is. So if you believe that you can attract a spouse that's going to be righteous, that's going to be faithful, guess what? That's exactly what's going to happen. But if that's your belief, belief leads to obedience. Belief leads to sacrifice and discipline. So if you say, okay, I want this type of person, but in order to get that type of person, you got to lose 100 pounds. You got to lose 50 pounds. You got to lose 30 pounds. When you truly, truly want that type of person, you're going to do the work. Until you do the work, that means you're not ready for that type of person. You really don't want it bad enough yet. You're not there yet. And so you'll remain the same. But when you get to the place and you really want it, then you're going to say, okay, let me take and let me do the work. Let me do the work. And now you're going to put the work in. Y'all got to forgive my sound. This thing here try to control my audio and all that. They help me out with that. So then you're going to do the work. And then as you do the work, now you start to attract different types of people. And now that you're attracting different types of people, what happens? With you attracting different types of people, what happens is you now start to recognize the signs. You recognize the signs of a faithful person, the signs of a committed person. And because you are that and you know what it looks like. So let me tell you, and you got to get to the root. So whenever somebody says something, so it's kind of like, let's say a celebrity says something and she say, all men are like this. What you have to do is you got to look at her life and look at her life story. And then she says, well, I was a stripper. She tell you she was a stripper. She tell you she used to sell her body. And when she would sell her body, she tells you that she would drug the man and then rob him, steal his watch, steal his money, and then take off. So what type of men was she dealing with? Was she dealing with righteous and holy men? No. Even if they were a pastor, that don't mean he righteous. She was dealing with promiscuous, lascivious, conniving, nasty, deranged, thwarted, disgusting men. So her opinion and assessment of men, you have to take it with a grain of salt because of the type of men she had access to, because of the type of woman that she was. The same thing when a man say all women cheat. And then you look into his story and you see he was touched. You see he was promiscuous. You see he pays escorts. He deals with strippers. He sleeps with strippers and escorts, and he buys women. He's not dealing with the quiet, studious, reserved introvert who sat in the front row of class and got straight A's and walked with her head down and didn't say anything to anybody. He's not dealing with her. He's dealing with the woman who slept with 20 of the guys on the football team. And he's just following suit and going behind all of those guys. And then he tries to wife her up when he met her on Savage Avenue, and he tries to wife her up, and then come to find out, he goes through her phone and sees messages and her sending illicit pictures to a guy who's worth 10 times more than he is. And then he comes out and say, you can't trust these HOs. And it's like, no, you can't trust them HOs, but the rest of us are not dealing with HOs. We dealing with OHs. Oh, wow, you amazing. That's who we dealing with. You are dealing with HOs. So no, you can't trust a HO. And yes, all HOs cheat. And so you see these men, they look like a Down syndrome Ninja Turtle. Not a human now. I ain't talking about the Down syndrome community. I say a Down syndrome Ninja Turtle. And then they talk about, oh, you can't trust these women. All these women cheat. All these women cheat. But then when you look at who they've been talking to, they've been talking to video vixens, strippers, Instagram models. And the man looked like he got hit by one of them whack-a-moles at the game room. Looked like from the time he came out of his womb, somebody been hitting him like a whack-a-mole. And then here he is, 35, 40 years old, talking about you can't trust no women. And it's like, you look like a whack-a-mole, and you've been dealing with women who don't want you. Them prostitutes saw you as a check. What make you think that they're going to be faithful to you, sir? Obviously, you're going to think all women are trash and you can't trust these women because you was raised on corn And I'm not talking about the food. You was raised on corn. That's all you watch. That's all you was attracted to. Those type of women that'll do that type of stuff. So that's who you got with. And them women don't have a heart anymore. Them women, their heart has been ripped out their chest because they've been violated from the time that they could walk. So any man is seen as an opportunity for her to get money and her to stand on your head, pee in your face, and get ahead. She's using you as a stepping stool. She using you to step on you, boy, to get to the next man who got more money. So you have to look at what type of women were you dealing with to develop that belief system that you have. Guarantee you, you weren't dealing with no classy, good women. And then here's the thing about people, and this is what we forget. So we'll see 10 people say the same thing. And we say, okay, 10 people have said the same thing. So, yeah, y'all got to realize now I do an hour videos. It's hard to talk for an hour. So y'all got to forgive me when I put my hand behind my head and go into different modes. Because I'm just talking now. I'm just kicking game to you now. That's why I say you got to get a pen and pad now. Because there's school over here now. And so, and y'all got, you a dean at a college. Now, let me come teach the class now. These folks, love 101. And so, here's the thing. You take and you have a situation where 10 people say the same thing. They say all women cheat or all men cheat, right? For one, they were bold enough to say it online. So that could speak to a level of narcissism. Let's say ain't got no narcissism in them. Could speak to trauma, pain, and they yelling out, they speaking out. But guess what? Those 10 people are speaking on the 10 people or the 20 people that they were with. So that's 200 people. 10 people been with 20 people. That's 200 people out of millions. So now you adjust your life and you adjust your belief system based on 10 people you heard online say all men cheat or all women cheat, but their dating pool is this big, that big. And it's millions of people in that gender that they are talking about. And they have that much experience with those millions of people. Now, if somebody have been with 1 million people, literally 1 million, they've dated 1 million people, and they got cheated on by 90% of them, 900,000 people cheated on them, and they come to you and they say all people are cheaters, now they got some validity. Now they can say something. But you changing your belief system based on the 3 people you done slept with, the 10 people you done slept with, the 20 people you done slept with. Then you have to ask yourself, okay, you slept with 20 people, you slept with 50 people. What did y'all build that relationship on? Did you build a relationship on communication? Did you build a relationship on trust? Did you build a relationship on the Holy Bible? Did you build a relationship with Christ at the center of it? So you were in an ill-advised, illicit, illegitimate, unplanned, ignorant relationship, and you're taking the data from that and then moving forward with your life with a belief system that's based on tainted supply, tainted data. So you had skewed data. You did everything wrong in the procedures, in the process of your field testing. You followed no rules. So you didn't even properly test your theory to see if your theory could become a law. Because your subjects and all of your variables were tainted.
They were all unfit to be in the scientific experiment. Everybody was trauma ridden. Everybody was broken. Everybody was lost. So you just had a tainted supply. So your test was failed before you started. And now you're taking your hypothesis, testing it with bad supply, and then coming out and speaking as if it's law, when none of your experiment was controlled. None of your experiment was with adequate and the correct type of products and people. So all this comes from a bunch of trauma-ridden people, trauma bonding. And then now you're yelling from the rooftop, all men are this, all women are this. No, all your trauma bonds are that. That's not the case for the rest of us. That's not the case. So you have to realize and understand. Come to that point, come to that place, and be real about it. Got to be real about it. And then once you get there, now you start to see, oh, my data was skewed because I was skewed, because I was hurt, because I was lost, because I was broken, because I was tainted. So, so what am I talking about? So how am I coming up with this right here? Like, where is this coming from? If I know I ain't been living right, I ain't been dealing with the right people. Because guess what? If you live with principles and you go into a relationship with principles, and that principle is you're not having sex before marriage, everybody who has sex before marriage or who wants to have sex before marriage, they're going to leave your life. So you're not going to have experience with people that's of your like mind. So now when you get with people who agree, you get with somebody who agrees with your mindset, with your belief system, with your foundation, with your core beliefs, and they say, hey, I don't believe in having sex before marriage either. So now y'all get to build on communication. Y'all get to build on companionship. Y'all get to build something pure, something real. So now if it doesn't work out, now you have a real assessment. Now you have really tested your hypothesis because you did it with the right stimuli. You did it with the right variables in your test. So now you know and you understand, like, oh, okay, yeah, this makes sense because I went into a situation where we had the same foundation. And now I understand we just weren't compatible in the other areas, and that's why we didn't work. But then you meet somebody who you are compatible with in those other areas, and then boom, y'all work. And now it's like, oh, so if I could meet somebody who is okay waiting until marriage for intercourse, then that person also has the discipline to be faithful in a relationship because they've already shown that discipline. So now if this person wants to leave or they want to break up, it ain't because they don't have the discipline to be faithful. It's because we don't mesh and we don't gel in the other key and core areas that make a relationship a relationship. So that's what you have to realize and understand. So I want you to get that. Want you to get that. Get that in your spirit. And understand that's what it takes for you to be able to have some feedback that's actually valid. But guess what? You can't give that feedback off of 5-10 relationships, 5-10 experiences. So that's why a lot of people don't understand. Like, when I say that I was out there and I dealt with over 100 women in 6 years, that ain't just women it's more women than that, because it was more women that we ain't going to no deep, no multiple dates. We ain't have sex. But it's experience, that conversation, that whatever. So, and even with that right there, I still am giving my opinion, but it's based on a larger dating supply, a larger dating pool, an in-depth study. So now if you done test a hypothesis over 100 times, now you have some real feedback. You only been in 3-4 situationships, 0 relationships, 3 relationships, 3, 4, 5 intercourse partners, whatever. It ain't gonna be that much data that you got. It ain't gonna be that. So yeah, God bless you. Keep your head up. Let me get on out of here. Let me see what I got going on. Got a coaching call. Hey, God bless you, and we'll talk soon. All the important links in the description. Got some coming up cool soon. Couple days.